Howdy, howdy, YouTube. Alright, so this is my Heng Long M26 Pershing, otherwise known as the snow leopard, because apparently that's what they called it. I think they call it Pershing now, but anyway. So this one started out as like the $80 basic tank, airsoft tank. So it had plastic gears, all plastic suspension, plastic everything. And it does shoot 6mm airsoft BBs, so it's fun. Real basic, as you saw from some of my throwback videos. Back when it was completely stock, it could barely drive anything over anything. It would you drive it on the kitchen floor, and that was about it. So this tank, over the course of several years, I upgraded to Taigen's all steel gearboxes with ball bearings. It has Taigen's metal tracks, sprockets. Now, this one also has the full metal suspension and road wheels. I had to get those, I think, from AliExpress forever ago. They're very hard to come by because apparently the Pershing is not very popular. But whatever, it's my favorite. I love it. And so far, it's been one of my favorite tanks that I have. So, but although I'm not a rivet counter when it comes to the accuracy of my tank, it has a little to be desired here and there. So on the airsoft Heng Longs, well, really all of them, their barrel is this molded plastic thing. It's shorter than what is scale. So what I had planned on doing, let me just grab it. I was building this custom turret with a, to scale length barrel. Now, I was getting mostly through this, and then my first kid was born, and I basically abandoned the project for now. So, and I was also going to have it be a dual purpose to where I could IR battle with it, or use the airsoft, whichever. But so this is going to be the base of the next project. So I'm going to finish this turret and put it on here. But it's got a couple other things that I need to do first. Well, because I mentioned in the description of one of my other videos that the Heng Long, their old electronics, the newer ones are much better. Like, they have all sorts of options. But the control board on here was the RX-18, which was very basic. You could, drive in multiple directions. You had limited proportional control with your tracks. You had no proportional control with the turret, and the gun elevation was just in a cycle that would go up and down. And the RX-18, when you would fire the gun, it would violently rock the tank, like it would do something like that. So basically just throw the gearbox into reverse and forward real quick, which meant you couldn't fire on the move. And with how heavy this tank is, it's like 12 pounds. So the RX-18, when the motors would draw that much power trying to fling this heavy ass tank around, it would fry the board. So I got around that by putting two RX-18 boards in there that are wired up to the same receiver. One of them would power the tracks to where I could drive the tank around, and the other one would operate the turret. So there is a micro switch on the gun that when it would fire, it would play the sound and then tell the tracks to kick. So if I disconnected the tracks from the turret controls, it would still fire the gun without hitting the track recoil, so I could drive and shoot. I'll put a link to the other video of me doing just that. Now, let's see. But those electronics are getting a bit long in the tooth. And that was, for a long time, the only way to get rid of track recoil without spending a bunch of money. So now I have bought two things that are going to go in this tank. They're right over here. So this is Taigen's, one of their newest. I don't think it's their latest and greatest, but the version previous to that. So this one has onboard sound. It does all the other fancy stuff. It'll disable track recoil, and it's just a much better board. It's 2.4 gigahertz. So I got the full kit that has the Taigen radio and the receiver, or if I wanted to, I could get my own receiver and use the FlySky or something like that. So that is going to replace the two RX-18s, and I have this bad boy, which is going to be part of the turret upgrade. And I'll show you that in just now. Let me get this other stuff out of the way. So who wants to guess what's in box number 2? Leave your answers in the comments. This, my friends, is Taigen's Recoiling Airsoft Tiger 1 turret. So I've done a lot of research on these things. I haven't taken it apart. But they have a barrel that can compress. It is run by a servo and a little switch and a little circuit board that runs off the micro switch on these airsoft units. So what my plan is to upgrade to the new electronics, take the switch and servo stuff out of this, and put it into the new Pershing turret, because this barrel can slide in and out of there. So I'll have a recoiling airsoft Pershing turret, and it's going to be awesome. So let's get started taking this thing apart. Oh no, I didn't find. Let's start tracing down all the tools again. Okay, this turret comes apart fairly easy. I think that is the control unit right there. It runs the servo that they have bolted to the side of this airsoft unit. And what's great about these airsoft units, it's basically the same thing that is in all the tanks, with the exception of like the Tamiya ones. So let's get this hot glued on here. Oh, that's the turret spring. So basically, these turrets. They have a rotating disc that has a cam on it that just raises and lowers this, and this is pushed down with a spring. Let's see if we can get this all flat. I've got it on there with some servo tape. Just heat for that. Okay, so that is out. That is the on-off switch and the turret. control. I'm going to have to resolder that. Let's see. We're just going to take all this out. Got the turret for now. Screws. Oh, there's screws on the inside. That's devious. Next one is under the, yeah, it's under the gears. These are nice and greased up. Got your bug. That's interesting. On-off switch also runs through the turret motor. Oh no, it's just, okay. Yeah. It runs through the gun elevation. That's interesting. Huh. Let's take all that out. Because we'll probably just put this switch, basically everything but the barrel and the mantlet's going to go in there. I'll probably cut these leads. Screws, screws, screws. All right. Put this back together so we don't have that screw. So we don't have little gears all over the place. It's too long. Here we go. Okay, so that is part. See, there's the return spring for the actual airsoft unit, because there's the servo will actuate the gun. Cool. So let's take this off. keep these screws a little slightly separate. Take this mantlet apart. That's interesting. They've got the lead to the servo. Is that like rubber banded on there with glue? That's, I don't know if you can see that. It's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna, well, I could probably just take this off here. Come on, wires, get over here. Let's take the servo horn up. Yeah. I'll leave that on there. Alright, I'm gonna continue to get this sorted out without tearing it up. So I'm basically going to take these guts and put it in here. So it should just drop right in, and I can use this mantlet. Alright, I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so suddenly I have a Sherman tank on here. That's because I have did a little more digging when I in my project work that I've been catching up on. So the turret that I was setting up as a correct scale barrel for on that Pershing turret I was building, turns out I remember now I was actually building an IR turret to go on this Sherman. Now I know it sounds crazy, but there was one prototype built of, they put a Pershing turret with the 90mm gun on the Sherman. There's a photo of it. I'll try to put it in here. They did it as a test bed to see about putting a 90 on here, but they went with the 76 instead. So this is a Taigen Sherman. I built this thing from parts and scratch, pieced it together because they're a little expensive. The turret on this one is actually not a Taigen. This is a Mado turret. It's all plastic. I had to cut it down to actually get it to fit to the size that it needs to be. Because when I built this, Taigen wasn't actually offering a 76mm turret Sherman. So I'm starting to mock this up. All I got to do is get the geometry correct for the linkage here. And I'm going to start building it in. So but what I have to do is test it to figure out which way this servo actually throws. Because if it throws the correct way, I can just hook it up and be good. If it doesn't, I'll have to turn it around. So I think what I'm going to do is mock it up on this thing first. Just because the Taigen Shermans, they have a quick release upper body. So you can just pop a lever, pull it off, and I can access everything I need to. So that's what that is. As far as connecting it to this barrel piece, Taigen actually did it pretty well, because what they used, a little piece of heat shrink right there to connect to that rod. And they were kind enough to provide extras in the pack of the turret. So I'm gonna fiddle around with this to get the geometry right, and I'm gonna start assembling that turret because it should be just plug and play most of this stuff. So I think also in my original, like I bought the upgrade kit, the electronics to actually put in this Sherman, but I've since decided to go ahead and put it in the Pershing. This one actually has V1 Taigen electronics, which I stole out of my Abrams over there. So the Abrams is the electronics and gearboxes are gutted because I think I put them in this one actually. So both has V3 gearboxes and the Taigen electronics. I might still have the gearboxes for the Abrams. I don't know. I'll have to look. I have a bunch of parts I need to dig through. Yeah. So this turret itself, because like I said, I was initially wanting to put the Pershing turret on here, but then I got this, and I actually like it. This one actually you can fire on the move without track recoil or anything, but that's just because I have the micro switch disconnected from the V1 gearboxes, so you don't even get gun sounds when you shoot the thing. But it runs and drives. It actually, I think it's a little bit more fun than my Pershing. But this one also has the Mato all metal tracks with the duckbills. So these are individual links. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Yep. So a lot of the Taigen tracks, they're just single link. These ones are actually double link. So there's two. They're built exactly like the full size. So I love these things. They're great. I've worn them. I've worn them around. They're a little loosey. The Taigen hull does not come with track tensioner, so I'm probably gonna have to pull these apart and take a link out to tighten them back up. But it's all in RC tanking. So I'm gonna fiddle with this, and I'll be right back. All right, now we're back, and I think I have this wired up correctly. So really all I needed an upper turret for was the daughter board. It's right up here. Let me hang on this here. So basically the MFU plugs into this, and the turret stuff plugs into there. So it helps. It's what keeps your wires all straight. So I've got this all set up. So let's turn on the radio, and then we'll turn on this. Ooh, that reset. That's nice. It's a good sign. So what I like about the Taigen boards over, like the old Heng Long ones, is they have a fan that helps keep it cool. Because that would also fry the old Heng Long ones. They would just overheat. Okay, so let's turn it on. I don't have the speaker hooked up because I guess I could hook it up, but turn it down. Let's see. Is this not? There it goes. No. Headlights are solid, that means it's running. So let's... Alright, so that works. Okay. Okay, so that's the turret, so let's get this. Boom, it works. Alright. So, now all I have to do is just basically assemble the Pershing turret with this. But I think that's going to come up in part 2. See you next time.